Radio Turku. Suomen Turku.
Hello everyone and welcome to this new episode of Radio Turku. Today I'm Noemi and I will be your host with
Hazel. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're doing well. Hope you went to vote.
Yes, please, because I wish I could vote.
So you see, we all have kind of issues here.
Mhm.
But this episode will most likely be published in May, and in May the sun is shining and you want to go outside, you want to meet people and in general plan activities for the summer, and that's why today we have invited two girls who are very active in
Yes.
Turku, organizing a lot of stuff, building companies. Maybe in May the company will be even bigger for Asmaa. So thank you, Asmaa and Aya, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us today.
Can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
You can go first. Feel free.
Oh, no, you go first.
Now the pressure is
Okay.
ramping up.
Then
Hey.
Asmaa, let's go.
I'm Asma. I moved to Finland. I'm going into my fourth year now with my wife, Aya, and our dogs. I graduated and then now have a company. That's nutshell who I am.
What's the name of your company?
My name of the company is The Creative Corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Creative Corner.
The Creative Corner.
Okay.
And in case you have potential clients in the audience, what do you produce
Yes.
with this
I
company?
say for everyone who wants to basically hack the algorithm, be on social media, create awareness about your brand, amplify your objectives, digitize your brand, I'm your girl.
Slay.
Yeah.
Although I was like, oh my gosh, hacking algorithms, like some kind of like cyber
Cyber
juju
attacks.
happening.
That happens in the back end. It happens.
Okay. What about you, Aya?
Yes, so I'm Aya, and I don't know who you are and how do you define yourself. I'm gonna go all philosophical and deep.
You
But,
can.
we can start. And at the moment, actually, I'm reading a lot about quantum physics, so it's becoming much more.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, so do you want to know about my atoms or?
Why-
It's getting
do
very
tell,
scientific.
Why like curiosity with quantum physics?
Because I'm questioning what makes up our consciousness, and I'm thinking, I don't know, with artificial intelligence and everything
Yeah.
around us, I know people tend to go really, they're polarized. They're like, I hate it, I love it. It's taking art away from everybody. It's not, it's creating art. And I'm like, no, but what's the science behind it?
yeah.
How is it? Can it really impact our consciousness or not? Are we, like, because I do believe we are all a collective consciousness and we impact each other. So I want to know how can it impact my consciousness and what's the future? So now I'm deep into it. So when you were like, okay, tell me about who you are, I'm like, at what level?
Usually people would
which
turn to
dimension?
philosophy for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's
Now it's
good.
like more like concrete. Well,
Yes.
quantum physics not so concrete,
Yeah.
but
Yes, and I was
still.
like, what reality do you want to know about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
So today, Aya, the philosopher.
Yeah, so I'm Aya, and I think I love to define myself as Asma's wife and Kai's mother.
Aw.
And yeah, I happened to come to Finland to start a new life, and at the moment I'm questioning my decision, but we can question it together.
With the public, and then let's decide if we want to stay.
We
Yeah,
are
I think
questions.
we can vote on
You
it.
make
at
a
the
poll in the link below.
End.
Yeah, do you
should
question
they
your
stay
life?
or leave?
Oh.
Finland got me from from art and creative into quantum physics. This is where you go, my journey. But
Wow.
yeah, so I'm Aya, and Asma's wife, Kai's mother, and our puppy. And I happen to have founded Turku Together, which is a non-profit organization that focuses on creating space, creating communal space for people to be together and also create together. I'm someone that haven't had a hard time belonging to so many spaces. So I'm like, okay, now I'm going to take this and let's belong together and discover it while what does belonging mean and togetherness and also community, because that's something I struggled with. I never had a community, so I'm like, what does community mean?
Okay.
So yeah, so that's who I am.
And you created it successfully, I
Yeah,
can say.
definitely. Well, could you tell us more about like the nitty-gritties of like how this Turku Together had started? Like what were the steps? And like how do you establish the together with your first circle? And
Yeah. Do you want the honest truth and the reality of it? It's messy. It was never a thought that it's gonna be this big. Or we're at the moment we have 95 members, and we have over, I think, 2,000 followers across social channels.
And
but
a lot of event already organized and
Yes.
who went successfully, like markets, art classes, gatherings in general.
Yeah,
Congrats.
but thank you. I appreciate that. Yay!
insert clap, clap, clap.
Clap, clap,
Yes,
clap.
I'm gonna receive the flowers. I'm learning now to receive flowers and accept them. And
She's
receive them,
trapped.
so
She cannot escape
thank you.
compliments.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm hearing it and I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it started with a messy idea. I was going through a lot. I had really bad depression, and I had a really tough time at work. I was discriminated against and had a really tough time. So I went to therapy, and I remember in one of my sessions, and I gave her so much credit, and I want to give her flowers. Marit, who is amazing.
Shout outs to
Yes,
Marit.
she's
To all
amazing.
therapists.
Yes,
Yes.
therapists are awesome. They're our best friends, and we need them. And I remember in one of our sessions, she kind of understood that I'm a bit more on the competitive side, kind competitor, like I'm a kind competitor. So, and I told her that it's so unfair. I was telling her about this big idea that's so unfair that I can access therapy, and then there are so many other people that can't. And what about the people that can't? And like I wish, and I remember I said I wish there was something in the middle, and she was like, "Do it, create it." Do this something in the middle in between therapy and networking, and it started from that. So and I was like, okay, challenge accepted, I will do it.
Game on.
Yeah, you know, it's really nice that you created this association, because I discovered it when I came back from an internship in the US in an NGO for women, and especially women of color. And so it was the first time, for instance, that I heard about DEI, these kind of principles of inclusion, and the healing, collective healing. So the first time attending therapy sessions in groups like meditation, writing, etc. And so when I discovered that you created something of that kind in Turku, I was like, wow, it's something really that I would never expect in Finland and never expect in Turku, in such a small city, because comparing to New York, I was like, this is something deeply rooted in the culture. So I think you're really bringing something that is missing in Finland, that is a country that is just discovering immigration, for instance, with our generation mostly. So I think you really brought a deepness of culture, melting pot.
True that.
Yeah, that was missing in the local culture. So I really appreciate this project.
And honestly, I find it admirable, like if someone who was able to transform the challenges and the obstacles that they have to go through and turn it into something that's really impactful and really echoes beyond their own personal bubble.
Sure.
So it's really really amazing to see that manifest.
I appreciate that, and I think it's just it's when you take a moment to get outside of your comfort zone. And I know people preach that a lot, but it really, because I have social anxiety, and I'm proud to say it, and now I own it and I'm okay with it, but I'm really anxious, and I think people tend to judge me as someone who's like is not nice, or maybe I don't know, I come off
The rest
I
is it the resting
think this
bitch
is
face?
really
Is it the resting bitch face?
Yes, it's the resting bitch face.
Okay.
I never heard
African
anyone
features,
saying Aya looks mean.
yeah. Yes, but it's just I don't know, I think in my own head I am this anxious person in a corner. So I really took, and I was like, you know what, no more. It was really a conscious decision. I was like, no more. And to be honest, like Turku Together, it was, the intention was an invite. You know, when you go, like when you ask a friend, let's go out for coffee together, that was it. And most of our events, that's the title, let's do market together, let's paint together, let's do ceramics together. So it's really an open invite. And I found myself, I remember, like was it maybe a year in, I'm like, from someone who's shy to ask a friend to go out for coffee, and I'm like, is it too much? Maybe it's not a good day. Maybe it's to asking Turku. So that
Tell
to
me.
me
Yeah.
is like it's really rewarding and healing in so many ways for me too. So I wish like I can say that it's just Aya in the corner, but it's not. It's so many other people that are also sharing the
Exactly.
invite.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yoga teachers and
Exactly.
ceramic teachers, healers that are like, I have this,
Yeah.
I want to share with everybody. So
Yeah.
it's a collective, truly. It's not just one person sitting there.
Mhm.
It's I open the invite, but then people are inviting each other,
Mm.
and
Exactly.
it's spread.
It's like a virus, but a good one.
Togetherness.
Ditto to that.
This is something I was going to talk about. It's like basically the impact. You could really see it. So maybe like I just want to say to everyone and admit that Aya does most of the planning, the editorial calendars, the posting for Turku Together. I'm just on the board doing nothing, and then people approach me like part of it because maybe I'm Aya's wife, but yeah, that's it. But because Aya is so busy doing it and then in it, and then when attending, she just like facilitating.
Mhm.
I'm there. I have the luxury to participate and see. So I'm actually, like experience it. So I could see basically, like I always say, like, oh, as an immigrant, I live in a parallel universe where like, Finns lives, like we don't live in the same universe or something like that. But there actually, it happens. Like Aya managed to, or Turku Together managed to create a space where people started to like basically invite each other and come together and talk without going like, hi, my name is Asmaa. I came here today to network because I want a social media job. And people feel like, oh shit, I have to hire Asmaa somewhere somehow. I barely landed a job. And then, so like kind of breaking that ice, but like in a very, very human level.
Mm.
Like, when all coming, like, when I'm sitting with my family in the kitchen cooking, or like, we're all sitting in the afternoon knitting or doing something like, nothing, literally, it's like nothing, but like just all of us in one room and then talking about things that I would have never imagined that I'll be talking about. Like people started to talk about like farming from totally different continent.
Yeah.
There were like a girl from Sri Lanka talking to a Finnish girl about farming because both of their family happened to happen like, farms in their family and then like generational farming, and I was like, what is that? And it was like a knitting event.
Mm.
And so something like that, like I'm so happy to see the effect or live in that effect and like, experience it. This is something like I feel like it's really great to happen.
Yeah, and it's exactly the kind of projects we want to support with Radio Turku, because when we started it with Simon, the idea was really to share with internationals who feel like there is nothing to do in Finland,
Yeah.
we are bored, we don't make friends. Yeah, actually there are plenty of activities, it's just you are not aware of them. So it's very connected to our common goals. But you talk a lot about communities, and we wanted to ask you like why is it important to build communities in this city? Like, what does it bring? And especially, you said it that you managed to connect Finns also with internationals.
Do you want to go?
Asma had the frown eyebrows.
This is
You
so-
like this is very. I know, like it's a very simple question, and people go like, "Yeah, it's important to connect and build something," and it's a very deep topic for me personally, because like
Let's go.
I come from Dubai, and both my parents are not from Dubai. So basically, and my mom's from a country and my dad's from totally different country. And then I grew up in a country that's basically not my country. And then I really, basically, it was so hard. And then we call our generation or people like us like third cultural kids. So like basically coming to Finland, I felt that like, it might be better some way somehow, but I felt that it's not better. And I usually get comments like, so when I tell them like, oh, I come from Dubai, so like, oh, you're an Arab, like you're too white, and or like, you don't look like it. So back home, I really did not look like it, so I did not fit in. And then here, I'm also too Arab to be like, like look like the people here. So you feel like, there is no connection. And I represent a lot of minorities. So basically, I am an Arab, I'm a woman, I'm gay, and a Muslim. And it's so hard to be all this in one person. and to express this in one person. So people have a very totally different stereotypes about these like, you know, people that I talked about, that all me in one. And it's so simple when come people, it's like, oh, but where are you from? And you go like, so where are my parents from? What passport I'm holding? Where did I live?
Oh my
Where I'm
God.
living now? Where do I? So it's really the belonging topic is so hard. So I'm hoping through that community I can find a place where I can belong to, or a sense of belonging. This did not happen yet. So I did not manage to create it. It's so hard. It's even the journey in Finland is making it harder. But yeah.
Lads and lassies, come on, guys. It's 2025. We have to get used to the diversity.
Exactly.
Yes.
And not ban it.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. But I imagine a lot of people can relate to your story.
I felt it resonated with you. Do you want to share about communities for you?
Communities for me. Oh my gosh, now I
Yeah,
feel like
exactly.
I'm really
All
intrigued
eyes
because
on
I
Hazel.
could see that it really resonated with you.
Circles. Well, I don't know. For me, honestly, I at this point in my life, it wasn't much of the question of me fitting in different circles, because I feel like I have different social circles for like different activities, and none of them had made me feel like uncomfortable. At least what they tried to make, like they were not trying to make me feel uncomfortable, but it was more of this like internal battle within yourself. Like if you can actually like get past through this like obstacles in your mind of like, oh, what are they actually thinking about me? Like again, what you mentioned with the social anxiety. So it gets to you sometimes, but when you manage to meet or hang out with people who don't make you feel that way, then it becomes a lot easier. So, but yeah, initially, of course, it was there's always a struggle, but then one has to not continue living through that struggle. Like you have to get out there and just be you and confident and all that.
I think it's the perfect moment to evoke the second career of Hazel. So for we had her long time ago in the second episode of Radio Turku.
How long was that? Like
really 2 years ago. Yeah, and you were mentioning that you were just starting the PhD, right?
Yes, yes.
So first big brain girl, and then recently this year Hazel started like, I would really like to become a model. Okay, let's take some courses. Let's do this and that. And that's one thing that I really admire with you is that every time you want something, you will be okay. Now I'm doing it. I want to be a model. Oh, I'm a model starting from next week. Basically, it's like you're giving yourself the means to achieve the person you want to be, and that's really impressive.
I think I kind of resonated with what you said earlier about like because when you're having this like internal struggles, like somehow you have to transform. You don't want to stay in that condition, so you have to be like transform that to action. So it started like, okay, so I was doing my normal, like just doing PhD, just
doing PhD.
No, I mean like
casually,
this kind
like,
of
on the side.
you know?
Or like the usual like
but I get you.
grind.
Yes.
And then I don't know, some people were just like coming up to me, like I don't know, some random strangers, be it Finns or not Finns, and then they were asking me whether they're drunk or not. Just put it out there. They just told like, hey, you should go, like, are you a model? And then I said like, no, not really. And I just, a lot of people were saying that, and it kind of made me like actually think about like, okay, like
destiny was calling.
like it can be like a good endeavor. And I said like, oh, it's a cute like side hustle apart from like doing research. And then started out with a bunch of friends. Like we did like this test shoot just random, like, okay, let's go to this club room in the student village and let's just take some random test shots. And then okay, did those test shots, and then we went to send those pictures to an agency, and then the agency contacted me and then asked further details. And yeah, next thing you know, I was doing this like trainings for like doing photos.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Really?
doing
That's so
photo
crazy.
shoots and catwalks, and then they told me like, oh, you should go try out this competition where like this like top model competition.
Oh my
And then-
god.
Yeah, that's so
It's
serious.
it's all going like so fast.
What?
It was.
I love
It
it.
was.
She's in the final now.
I
Yeah,
love
it
it
was all
for you.
surreal.
I love it for you. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
And it was like, it was so intimidating. Like
Wow.
at first, because like
Now we have to tell people what's the results and the
Yeah.
complexion.
Yeah,
Now I said,
yeah,
please,
yeah.
Yes,
like now we have to
please,
tell
and
people.
link your accounts on the episode under the episode so we can
Yeah.
all follow you.
It's
and
in
be
Helsinki,
like,
the final, so
Oh.
I don't know if we can
Yeah.
watch it, but that's
Yes.
my dream to be with
Yeah.
a banner.
yeah. Or
yeah.
like a watch party. Like we can do a watch
It
party.
would be so
Right?
cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I should probably ask the organizers of the agency.
Yeah,
for
you should share.
Yes.
Yeah, but apparently this competition, so we're like 12 girls and 10 guys.
Okay.
So a guy and a girl will be like, whoever wins this top model competition will head to Paris.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're
so
winning
amazing.
this. You're coming back home with this. I'm sorry. What can we do? I'm now
Fingers
planning.
crossed.
Campaigning.
But actually,
Slashing
yeah.
tires. I'm gonna. Like,
Why?
you
Why?
know-
That she's going violent. I don't know.
What's
Yeah.
her name? Tina Harden.
Yeah,
Forgot the skater that went evil and then anyway never mind.
The skaters that went evil.
There was this ice skater that went evil.
Yeah.
And, the movie.
The
Oh
movie.
my gosh. Let's
Yeah.
not turn evil.
Anyway, yeah.
Some people will know.
Yeah.
But
I was
yeah.
talking campaigning and social media stuff, like
Yeah.
so normal. Like,
No, I was thinking,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I
Your
went
future
evil. I
is
went
not-
slashing tires.
No,
Why are we
no.
ruining?
no, babe, not today.
Oh, let's not go there.
In a different universe, in the quantum.
My,
phys-
my intrusive thought won today. Anyway, keeping
Oh.
good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
Actually, I have a
Yes.
question related to this because do you feel we were talking about belonging, being
Yes.
ourselves,
Yeah.
finding
Mhm.
identity, and do you feel that joining this model training, which is really about your body, who you are,
Yes.
what the vibe that you give to people, do you feel that it helped yourself like embrace your identity?
yeah. I definitely 100%. I mean, like, it's not at least for me, it's not so much on the modeling aspect. I mean, of course,
Yeah.
I do love, like, ever since I was a little girl, little child, pre-transition, I was always fascinated with fashion, always
Mhm.
fascinated with, I'm watching always fashion shows with my mom, and it's always a thing. And I guess it's kind of like, I never gave it a thought until it became so close to reality. Like, like I told, like, shucks, it this can actually happen. Like it's really surreal, and I see it as a personal journey to like being one step or like a lot of steps closer to embracing who I am and being confident about it, because a lot in those model trainings is that we're being taught like how to be confident, how to embrace ourselves, like also this aspect of like, okay, I might feel a bit uncomfortable at this moment, but somehow you make it seem still that you're confident, like fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and also I guess it comes with the age when you have so many experiences, and by experiences I mean like hardships, like coming from a country where it's not necessarily as encouraging when it comes to coming out and embracing your identity. It's not so much in this individualistic culture, so to speak. And I don't know, when I moved here and have this like self-discovery journey, and then I realized like, okay, like how do I channel this like confidence in me, like how do I showcase it? And it came to a point where, okay, I have to stop, like, okay, just looking at yourself in the mirror and being like miserable and being like, okay, you have all this energy, you have to express it somehow. And yeah, that's what I did. And I thought like, okay, fashion was an avenue to go, so went on with it and just like keep going on for the ride. So
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. That's amazing.
Every
Thank you.
listener being the biggest fan now.
Yeah, honestly.
yeah, just follow your heart, like
Yes.
whatever, like it's funny because I came across this book, like I don't know if you might know Robert Greene. Like he wrote this like 48 Laws of Power and the Art
Yeah.
of Seduction, and but seduction not necessarily in a sexual
Yes,
way. It's
yes.
more of like persuading people, creating networks efficiently. And he mentioned at some point in one of his books to like go back to your like childhood and do not underestimate what your aspirations were
Yes.
during your childhood, because you need to tap into that, because it connects you to what your heart truly desires and what your intent, you get closer to your intentions. And with being closer to your intentions, you become more reinforcing to the universe. And I'm starting to talk like rather
No,
abstract.
It's not
Listening,
random, and it's all
Yeah.
connected. By the way, it's all connected. I really believe in it. That sometimes, and honestly, quantum physics also explains this.
Yes.
I was waiting.
Yeah,
Alright.
and it explains it that it didn't happen to you at a random. That
Yeah.
people were looking at you, were like, oh, you're a model, you're a model. You were calling it out. It's your body, how you moved, how you carry yourself. Even me, I just told you, we didn't know each other really well, but I was like, I saw this beautiful woman with curly hair, and I was like, by the way, I know you. I was such a fan.
Yeah.
Like whenever you were walking,
She was looking like,
literally, I
she
was
told
just
me that,
like, she
you know,
is the hair. I was just like slow motion ad. I was obsessed with the hair.
she's gonna be my best friend. I said, please
Yeah.
stop saying this.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you know,
I
it's like
honestly-
really
yeah.
weird.
Like, yes.
You know, like people will like go like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, so
Like,
I
she's gonna be my best
yes,
friend. Like, no.
yes, I feel you kind of
But you call it,
you're
yeah.
reading, and you're, as exactly you
True.
said, your intuition as a child, all of them are directing you, but sometimes it's the societal pressure, the
Yeah.
expectations, how we were programmed by our maybe parents, loving parents, but unintentionally pressuring us.
Okay.
But
Everyone has probably
Yes.
with their dads
Yeah.
here.
so you kind of lose your way, but I feel like deep down, if you do a lot of self-awareness, you are living it. It's finding its moment to come to
Yeah.
you. And
But
that's all.
actually, you're saying this that people are calling for it, and in the end, you see, you met. So I feel that you have this call, that you have this vibe that you want to meet people, that people feel comfortable with you, want to talk
Sure.
with you, attend your events. So maybe what you were saying, that since very young you were looking, both of you, for communities, for belonging to a group. It can be reflected in your current projects.
Sure.
I remember that on LinkedIn you had created this account for people to share their experience in Finland.
We call it Faces of Finland.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I forgot the name, and I was looking for it
Yeah.
on LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
where is it?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a bit
Yeah.
about it? Because for me, that was an important work.
Also, Faces of Finland was inspired by Aya.
Look at this muse.
Oh.
So basically, yeah, because like okay, so like it's from my perspective, like, you know, like I'm white, and then I can pass as a European, which is like, you know, sometimes I am so ignorant when it comes to other people's experience, yeah, and especially like, you know, imagine my wife. So like, you know, I remember when we moved in here, we moved to like, you know, Uvascola, and then like, you know, we'll go into the bus, and then the first thing, you know, is like just Moy. Literally I knew nothing, and then like, you know, and that like there like is so nice, because like people go like, you know, Moy every single time when they go, like, because it's smaller city, and then when they leave they go like Kitos to the like driver. So I would go in and go like Moy, and then tap my card, and then I would go like Moy, and then he wouldn't reply back to Aya. Or she wouldn't reply back to Aya. And then she was like, they did not reply back to me. It's like, no, maybe they did not notice you, and things like that. And then I started to like, you know, stop. Like, you know, I always say this to Isaac, I'm trying to stop this, I promise. But like, you know, I try to tell her like, oh, it did not happen, to protect her. But it did happen, you know, it's like, you know, but I felt that like, you know, I'm invalidating her story. some way, somehow, rather than like, like literally listen and observe. So I started actually to observe, and it's totally different experience when I walk in and then she walks in, and then I was like, it's horrible because like of course, like the moment also they talk to me and then they realize that I don't speak Finnish, they ignore me as well, but like
Blow the cover.
but at least I have an introduction, like I still go in there, like I am from the face. But sorry. But so she started to have like this insane stories. And I started actually, and it was like really bugging me. So again, it goes back to the community where, you felt that, oh, finally, I'm going to come here with my wife and then people going to like just embrace us. Like, because this is
Just
this
deal
This
with
is
it.
Europe. This is Finland.
This is Europe. I'm Finland, like, of course. And then like, this did not happen. So like I started writing down these stories, and then I started to hear more stories of other people, like, just random, like, as simple as like, like in the
Just protect identities. That's what I'm
protect
trying to
identities.
say.
Good call.
That's good.
Noemi,
like-
remove visa diet.
Yeah. So basically people that I'm talking to from like, my integration courses, and it could be like a very random, like a question, like a very random, I talk too much. I'm sorry.
No, love just to protect their identities
I'm
so
not gonna
people
tell.
don't connect.
People I've met in
Ah.
certain circumstances.
Yes.
Ah,
People
yeah.
on LinkedIn.
People in the universe that I have crossed paths.
Yes, on Earth.
Exactly. So it would be somewhere in the, I don't know, quantum physics. Maybe they exist, maybe they not now. Like now.
You never know.
You never know. I'm making up stories now. So
People on Earth, that's my favorite. I think.
So I started, like, in the normal conversation, they would say something that's so, like, it's so normal. I go, like, ouch, like, this happened to you? And then they're saying it in a way, like, oh, this is this. And I go, like, so it just, like, got my mind. And then, like, even the other day, I was in an event. I have to say this, please. It's been laying on my chest for the past 2 days. So I was
Let
in
it
an
out.
event.
Let it out.
I was in an
that's the
event.
perfect time.
And then people was like, but as an immigrant, and the person was talking as an immigrant, as an immigrant, it's your duty to change the perspective of us. It's like, why? Why it's my duty? Why it's my duty to hold, like, a big sign and go, like, Naomi is a good girl. Because she's an immigrant. What the hell? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Hazel is amazing. Give her a chance. Let her go to modeling. And then I feel like, like, oh, my wife is awesome. Like, see what she's doing. It's not my, like, I was like, it's not my responsibility. Like, these people also have mind and they can see. And we're different. And then they like people differently.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? It is not my responsibility because I have a lot of shit to do in here. I'm sorry. Maybe you can cut this off.
No,
Like,
no. Let's
like,
go with swear
I
words.
already came here. It's so challenging.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I already had to study. It's so challenging. With studying, I'm a full adult. I have to pay myself for myself. I have to pay for my studies. It's something that, like, let's shock people. I have to pay my study. Most of immigrants who comes from outside EU have to pay for their studies, guys. It's not for free.
And a lot.
Yeah, and then we don't get benefits. Guess what? Because we're students, so we don't get benefits during that. So you have to support yourself for at least 2 to 4 years. This is another shock that, in case you don't know. And then after that, I have to face the reality going out of this bubble of educational bubble,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like, get thrown to the market, and then go like, oh shit, there's a lot of things that I did not figure out because I was studying, and I also had to graduate really fast in 2 years because I'm paying for my
Yeah.
education.
Mm-hmm.
So. And then you're just coming and telling me, yeah, but you have to prove yourself as being a good immigrant. What? This is too much pressure.
Is there a rule book for good immigrants?
Exactly. And then
Yeah.
and then not just me, I also have to set a good example for the other immigrant.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a bad one. Like, how would I know? Like, this is something like, I was like, or you have to sell yourself better than a Finn. Why do I have to sell? Like, he's a person. I'm sure he has a qualification, and I have a qualification, and that employer has a set of rules. If they want to hire me, great. If they feel that person is better for them, also great. Like, but giving us extra responsibility to fit in, or like pushing us to fit in, but I don't feel like, how good is gonna be how good I'm gonna fit in if I pushed my way through.
Yeah.
And it did not really come. Like, I'm coming to Naomi, I'm telling her, you have to be my friend. Like, think about it. And then I bug her with 500 messages about going into coffee. And then when she comes finally, because she's a nice person, and then we go to coffee, and then there's nothing to talk about. And then, like, I keep pushing myself in there. Like, how good is that relationship, And then, like, how much effort do I have in me to do everything and navigate everything, something as simple as a bus stop. It took me a couple of months to realize that, and then Babe figured it out for me, that this bus stop goes this way, and then the same bus stop, the same direction, goes the different way.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at this. And then, like, I used to get, and then she's like, babe, that's a hack.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't a
But
hack,
a
guys,
lot of people from
sadly.
outside Europe are not used to buses, for instance,
No.
stopping at a stop. And I realized this when discussing with Indian people coming from less big cities, and they were explaining, no, you just wave at the bus driver and he stops to you. And I was like, oh, mind blowing. I would have never thought.
And also to expect, like, if I might add to your point and Asma's point, is to expect that all immigrants come from the same background.
Yeah.
Like, if, for example, an immigrant coming from India, perhaps they had to stop the bus. I came from Dubai. I never took a bus. I always,
true. I
someone
never
drove
thought.
me, or I had a car.
We don't have a good infrastructure for bus
we do actually, but it's just that it's not common to use
True.
public transport.
True.
So people come from different backgrounds, and to cast them all under one umbrella, they must not know, or they must be.
We need to educate them.
Or so it's. But I think it brings us to the topic of expectation versus reality.
Yeah.
And I also take full accountability as someone that came to a new environment to kind of look at myself and my expectations. I also had some unrealistic expectations that were fairly sold to me by by Finland's PR, public relations. So the public relations of Finland did a really good job when Sanna Marie was in place, because we got the news. We were like, happiest country.
Good old times.
Yes.
Sanna Marin, come back.
We were like,
Please.
happiest country, peaceful, accepting of LGBTQIA community. So amazing. I'm going. Then Nirvana. I'm going there. And I think also the responsibility comes from my own expectation that I believed their PR. So when I came, I had a lot of adjusting to do. And I was like, oh, no, it is not happy. There is discrimination. It's not everybody. Again, I cannot do to the Finnish society what it's been done to me. I cannot cast an umbrella. I have amazing, like, for example, Asma didn't have the most pleasant integration plan with her language education. I'm having a good one. I chose to learn Swedish, and my Swedish teachers are amazing. They really, like, they really go out of their way to support you. Like, messages, I can share this, actually. It's personal, but it's fine. I said that I'm not going through the best mental health period now. And he really went out of my teacher, Pekka. He's awesome. So he went out of his way, and he was like, this is the crisis line. This is how you can get help. You cannot integrate.
Good.
He was like, you cannot integrate. If you're not doing well, please take care of yourself. And I realized that it's not the same for everybody.
No. This is really exception.
Yes. and to be honest, that's why I don't want to sit here and cast a negative light on all of Finland integration, all of Finland society. People are different, and we do get different experiences. But I think what we're trying to do here is to say that there are different point of views. Let's hear each other out.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
bring it to the table, and then have this communal space with everyone come, like, along, and then, like, talk. Because, like, we're not living in a parallel universe. We're all supposed to be in one place, and we all need to talk, and then let's be transparent about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, so with that, those being said, like, you believe that with this Turku Together, that you can help bridge those, like, connection with understand, like, having native Finns understand different cultures or different backgrounds, and, like, the other way around as well.
Yes, I think it's really important to create a space for people to come together and talk. Like, I had, it's just, I don't know, it's from the simple things, like, yo, this is not my social, like, connection style. I don't like to make friends all the time. Like, just understanding each other on a personal level, not from, like, I am a Finn, so I am this, or I am. It's more like, I am human. I happen to be anxious. So are you? Let's talk about it. So it's this, when we take things a bit out of I understand, of course, there is government, there is things that are we have to think about, like voting, and they really impact how we live our life and how we operate. But on a human level, it needs to start with a conversation. I
Yeah.
genuinely believe that.
Completely agree, and people need to meet in person,
Yes.
in my opinion, and that's like what you were mentioning about having a great teacher, supporting, etc. This is something that makes the difference, and now that I work in administration, I've understood why a lot of services might go wrong, because you have people who are working for internationals who don't like internationals.
Exactly.
And for me, this is one of the biggest issues. If you want the work to be done properly, you really need to select people who have sympathy, who have patience, and who have the curiosity to meet others. Because I see it, I will not be employed there anymore at the time. But I see it in my team that they are people who are genuinely curious to meet foreigners, and others who are scared of it. And if you are scared of it, you should work for natives in an environment that makes you feel comfortable. You will do a great job, but don't take care of internationals, because you are going to remove them the opportunity to get access to great services that exist in Finland and that are just badly advertised, or you don't spend enough time to share them, or you don't want to share them. And this is really something that annoys me now that I get a better vision, because I work in a Finnish team with only speaking in Finnish, and I think that these people, the HR people or administration people, they should go to events like the ones of Turku Together to meet the people they are supposed to help, because I think they have no idea what physically these people look like, how do they speak, what kind of hobbies they have, and then they would realize, oh my god, I never thought that a bus stop could be an issue. For instance, I have a really concrete example. Shout out to Li Feng, my friend who comes from Malaysia, arrived this summer, and she spontaneously wrote 2 pages of here are tips when you have just arrived to Finland. And in the tips, for instance, she was telling stuff about how to put internet in your house when you don't have DVV, this kind of stuff, how to walk on ice, really basic stuff. And one of my colleagues laughed at it, and I was so shocked, because she was like, oh, they are saying that we can drink tap water. I'm like, do you realize that in a lot of countries you don't drink tap water and you buy like the bottle of water? And I was just so pissed off at this, because some questions or some problems might look stupid to you because you are so familiar with it, but just go to that country and then you will be the one who looks stupid.
Yeah, and in Dubai, for example, we don't drink tap water because the water we have is basically, we are around the sea. So they really have to purify the water. So basically they purify it, and everything we can wash with it, but we cannot really drink it. It's not really good. So what happens, either you put a filtration in your home, and then we buy water.
But why go so far? Even some countries in Europe, you cannot drink the tap water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure why the bubble, or like it just
I think it's a
terms of
personal
ignorance,
choice.
personal ignorance, in my opinion.
How do we address it, or do if we were the ones to address it, or if it goes to another level, like for example with what Noemi had mentioned, with like what seems to me like people being out of touch with realities of other people, like for example with this HR, like don't they have these kinds of trainings for like
they go and they do something else while listening. I've not I've seen, now I know, and I have some stuff that I could say, but
And then also we need to see who's training them as well.
Exactly.
As it also,
I think the people training are often full of good intentions and providing good advice, but if you don't want to listen to them, there's nothing we can do for
we
you.
actually discussed this in there was a political event that we attended with the Green Party, and one of the topic that came out was like, how do we hold people accountable? So yes, of course, it is a personal, it's an indicator of personal prejudice or personal, you as an individual being out of touch, your own ignorance. But then how do organization as a whole can hold these people accountable and get them out, or perhaps teach them otherwise? So there has to be laws and regulations and governance of you cannot come here and be racist. This is not the place to be. Or for example, to run an NGO for a minority group, and I'm not going to mention any names, but to run
Thinking very hard.
to run an NGO for a minority, specifically minority group that happens to be predominantly Muslim community, and you don't know what is Ramadan. That to me is
Okay. That is-
Wow.
But that
like,
exists. That
what
exists, and then I have
and
seen
a
it.
question like, what is the tradition of Ramadan? I'm like, but aren't you serving this community? Couldn't you have a meeting with your own community to ask them, what would you like to have? I'm not saying we all should have answers to every question. No, but we should talk about it,
Yeah.
especially if you're in a position of power. Then I would like to hold you accountable and ask you, why don't you know? How come you have been running this community for a very long time and you
True.
don't know what they do to break a fast? Isn't this you? So it's just, for me, there has to be measures of accountability that are
True.
put in place, whether in governments, communities, or even in groups where we are a group now. If someone says something out of line, we should be holding each other accountable. Aya, no, this is not okay. You have addressed me with the wrong pronoun, or you have said something that is triggering, and this is how we kind of do better.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect segue when you mentioned about the people of influence or people of power to sort of enforce this accountability measures to have been like, hopefully people have voted for the municipal elections.
Good vote.
Yeah,
But
put that
Yes.
vote to a good cause.
Yes.
But that's not true, because we're talking in that event transparency, which is like what Finland talks about usually, and then how honest Finnish people are. So transparency should take a place into these things. Like now we're dealing with data, and then Finland is also great in that field. Why we're not basically using that big data and then business analytics and then data science in order to see the governments what they're doing, basically how many immigrants you have in there, for example, how many people from different language, who are the target audience, are you really serving the target audience you really serve, is that budget is really spent on that or not? And then different companies and different employers as well, I'm not pushing you to do anything. I'm not pushing you to hire more immigrants, but I'm just showing the statistics. So for me as an immigrant, when I go in, I need to know that basically I'm gonna walk into very Finnish work environment. Would I be able to settle there? Is it a flexible environment or not? Sit. And then there was a great suggestion also in that meeting, that basically have a prize system where basically an
Reward.
award.
Like reward system.
Exactly. So basically an
Ah.
award for the best example of in the city or a company where their report shows something, and then we follow an example. Because I feel sitting, if I came and then also started attacking you, and then then how I'm solving two wrongs wouldn't make right, but I'm setting a good example in a way that, again, I'm not pushing myself to do it, but I'm setting a good example of how things should be. And there is actually a lot of great companies in here are setting an amazing examples.
Okay.
Why not highlighting the good examples we
Yes.
have?
I was just thinking of I had some apprehensions with what you said with regards to rewarding people. I just thought okay, is it something that's part of in general in the Finnish culture, oh, everyone should be equal, nobody should be standing out or being
Yeah.
as excellent. If you
Yeah.
catch my
Yeah. Yeah.
But they do have these, for example, citizen award, best
yeah.
citizen
Oh, okay.
rewards of
Yeah.
they give them, I don't know, something.
for their acts of service.
Yes,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
being an act of service. And I think
Okay.
maybe reward could be not in the sense of monetary reward, but rather than highlighting the
Yeah.
The
how
effort.
are they a model? How is it impacting? Because coming from a marketing and branding background, I think the most important thing that companies want, and even governments, is to have economical stability. And in this situation that we're in, you will see that companies that don't have diversity, there is research out there that shows that they're not as effective, they're not as efficient, and they're not as productive.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you will end up losing actually your bottom line at the end of
Yeah.
the day. So it's not us sitting here let's all be diverse, let's all be inclusive, but it matters for your bottom line.
Yeah, but that's so true. One of the big companies here, if we look at, without also naming, big companies in Finland who are Finnish company went international. These companies are international companies. They have a lot of international people working
Yes.
there, and then a lot of nationalities, and then there's a lot of native languages spoken in there. And then I'm sure that the main communication goes in English as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a matter of like keeping up to the
Mhm.
globalization and
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
or
yeah.
otherwise you would be left behind. And there are examples of Finnish brands that have tried to go international, did well for some time, and then crashed because they were not able to keep up. And I think it's an invitation for people to do better. And it's an invitation because if we want to, because I really love being in Finland, and I think it's a great place to be. And there's so many good
Yes.
things. To be
Yes.
honest, there are so many good things that have happened to me on a personal level. And also in my journey of opening Turku Together, I wouldn't have had the chance to do this anywhere else.
Mhm.
So I'm very grateful to it. And this is why maybe we're eager to make it better
Yes.
and to
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
better for the people that will come, new immigrants or perhaps new internationals, talents coming.
Yeah.
So we want to just cast a voice and be like, okay, how can we make the society even better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you go through the numbers, or if you have the figures with regards to how many, or like, okay, Finns and non-native Finns, how in percentages, how would you say, like in the Turku Together?
Okay, I can't give you exact number, but I
Mhm.
can give you an example of how we have like a diverse events.
Yep.
So we do have a recent example that I can give is we have a community market. It's an initiative that we are trying to build, and we just got rewarded from the city a space that is super close in the
Yeah.
center. And we're gonna have another community market in the summer.
Can't wait.
Yes, so our last community market was in Halloween, and we did it in order. And it wasn't during the Finnish Halloween because there were already amazing things happening. It was after. It was in the same time of the American Halloween. And our community markets are essentially what we call like equity entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
So it's not about, it's giving people with different opportunities the same equity, not equality, equity.
Equity.
But so if you have money, you can pay more to help us. If you don't, you can pay less. So it kind of was like a pay what you can spectrum. And then business owners, entrepreneurs, want to be artists, want to be cooks, whoever has a passion and wants to take it out to the universe and show it to the Turku city, they can. So in that market, we had, it was 60-40. So 60% internationals, 40 were Finnish. And you could come to the market and see, and even Naomi came and they did interviews with different talents. So it was
Radio
like...
Turku Instagram page.
Yeah. So you could see, like, we had a Finnish graphic designer who was doing stickers and amazing things. And then also, I don't remember where she's from, but an international also with stickers and graphic design. And they were right next to each other.
Yeah.
And they talked and they connected and they want to work together later. We had someone doing earrings who happened to come from Persia or from a Persian background, and then someone who's Finnish, and they bought from each other in exchange.
Yeah.
So that to me is the biggest reward when you
Yeah.
see creatives all struggling to like get their idea out there, and they come to each other and be like, how did you make this? Where did you get the material?
Yeah,
What
it was
about the
so sweet.
packaging? And it's like, and we joke that it's kind of a circular economy, because at the end of the day, when like you're done with like you gathered your funds, you just go around and be like, I want this, and you buy from each other. So it's, to me, the major impact of the market is, yes, of course, we're opening opportunities for people that are starting to put their product out there, but it's the connection that they
Yes.
make. It's like they connect, they support each other. I see them all the time, like commenting on each other or liking each other's posts.
So cute.
So it's this, it's
Support.
truly together.
Mhm.
And I would say it's 60% international, in, for example, in that event.
Mhm.
And I would say 40 was.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
The reason I asked is because like I was thinking like, okay, given this situation, like for example with Finns,
Yes.
almost at the like same
Yes.
50-50. So like I was thinking how to encourage more of them to be like to get in touch with people from different backgrounds through this Turku Together.
I want to tell you there is also a recent two examples that I want to give. So we had a community iftar. It
Yeah.
was mixed. It was diverse.
I
It
could
just
not believe
happened.
it.
Yeah.
And even someone from the city, they have said to us, this is really diverse. I didn't think it would be people from different. It was just, if you looked, it was
So
this
many countries.
beautiful rainbow of people from everywhere. And the most beautiful picture that we had, or in my mind, that kind of wrapped up the day for us, was our Finnish friend who does for us most of the natural escapades and cultural sessions, talking to two Finnish hijabis. And I'm like, they wouldn't have met if it wasn't for that place.
Yeah.
And it was such a beautiful, like, I just took a mental photo of it. Asma took,
Yeah.
and to me,
It
I was
was
like,
so
okay,
beautiful because
it
I
was
would.
so beautiful because they wouldn't have met any other place. And in my mind, I was like, if I were to summarize the impact, it would be this.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
3 people who happen to be Finnish from different backgrounds, and they are talking together, and that's it. And 2 are in hijab that have just broke their fast, and 1 that came to learn about fasting. That to me is exactly what we do and what we hope to happen naturally, without imposing, as Asma said, just really naturally people to come together and be and enjoy each other's company.
And I think, like, having it in the community itself, like, when your friend is basically, let's say now, like, because it's Ramadan, like, is fasting. And then, and then coming to you and asking, oh, like, why you're fasting, or what's, it becomes so normal. So it's not like, it's not weird anymore. It's not like, there is this like amazing, beautiful, basically advertising that I like about, like, inclusion, where they brought like kids, and you could see the kids are totally different. Like, some like, African American kid, and then like, like a white kid, and they go like, so what's the difference? And then they ask the white kid, like, what's the difference between you guys? And he goes like, he loves red pasta, and then I don't like it. And then you go like, what? And then, like a girl in a wheelchair, another girl, like, like just standing next to her, and they are best friend. And she goes like, I don't like chocolate ice cream, and then she likes chocolate ice cream. So this is the difference they see in each other, and it was like, that's us. Like, even as an adult, that was us, that's us.
Yeah,
And
you're
then, like,
just influenced by all these
exactly, all
structures.
these influences and things like that. It's like, so what if how would affect you, for example, if your friend fasting, or like how would it affect your friend if you came in and go like, why you're fasting, what do you do there, out of curiosity, like, and then it becomes very normal conversation, or like, now the crazy thing I feel here, that we're talking about Finn and non-Finn. Like, seriously, like, honestly, like, as you said, like, we're in 2025, and then circling back to faces of Finland it was not just like, to share something negative or like bad experiences that happened to people, rather than telling the people, like, we are part of Finland. These are the different faces of Finland, and we are facing this, and you need to know that the bus could be an issue. So if someone came and asked you, don't laugh.
Yeah.
It is an issue, like, it is a challenge for him. So if it's like one word, how would that affect your day? Tell them like, oh, this and this, like, tap. And so that was the entire purpose of, like, Faces of Finland, is basically just telling people, like, this is what people in Finland face, and then we are all part of this. And then if you can help with one little thing, whether you're a Finn, you're not Finn, you're an immigrant helping Finn, vice versa, regardless, help, because we are all human on earth.
Yeah, we are all human, and I feel like there is this point that I really want to make clear, that we're not asking for perfection. Please come with your differences. I want to celebrate that you have beautiful curly hair, and I want you to tell me exactly, and I want you to tell me how much time it takes you, and I want to ask stupid questions. I don't want to make mistakes, and I want to, because that's very important for us to understand each other. We're not all the same. We are very different, and sometimes it's very obvious that we are different. And I need you to tell me exactly what I do wrong. Like, if I'm using the wrong pronoun, if I said some really crazy thing, I want you to be like, Aya, this is not okay, because here is 1, 2, 3, and this is how we become better.
Definitely. And we need to remind the audience that like, personally, I've been in, especially recently, I've been in super awkward situation because I said the stupid sentence, and it's okay. It's you might become really red like me and feel ashamed for months after this. But people, when they see that it's a genuine question, or you were ignorant, and it as long as you are not trying to insult or mock people, people will be like, okay, she was just ignorant, and get over it. But it's okay to be curious and to say something really weird, and even
True.
we need to accept it.
but
But
Yeah.
we have all made mistakes,
Yeah.
and even
Yes.
within our own communities it happens. So
Absolutely.
I think just try and be curious about people. I
Yeah.
think you need to show it, but not too weird.
Yeah, but that's also reassuring for folks who kind of get like because you can be on that end, but you can also be on the other end where you're like so conscious about like everything that you say that you become so afraid of like just even speaking up and like or like meeting different
True.
people.
True.
So
Yeah, I tend to speak too much, and then for 1 month, why did I speak?
yeah, so just like
The contrary.
Foot and
Yeah.
mouth syndrome.
yeah, just I mean, reminder to people out there, like you please be curious, like get to know different people, and if you make a mistake,
On it.
own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have learned something at least.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like that's like if we bring that experience, all of what we have just talked about, to Finland specifically, I saw myself in the beginning when I came to Finland. I saw that I kind of rushed to the conclusion that it is for sure they are treating me this way because of my color or blah blah blah. Because to be honest, I have never faced this back home. I was like the majority, so I was like the person that looked like everybody else. Asma was the amazing standout,
but
she was
amazing.
the extra.
no, but she was always celebrated too, right?
Yeah.
You have to admit. So, but I was like just the normal blah. I looked like everybody else, okay? So I wasn't standing out in any way. But then when we came to Finland, I noticed that really like it's
The
strange.
polars, yeah.
Yes, and I also like we are kind of have this adventure where we try to go to the map, pick a place, and just go.
Yeah.
So we do that
Cool.
every once in a while to challenge each other. So we went to the small city, and literally, it was a Sunday. Everybody was looking at me. I was like,
Oh
okay,
my
babe,
God.
let's go. I want to leave. Like, I was so anxious.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to say, in the beginning, when I came to Finland, I immediately brushed it all under the umbrella, racism. But now I'm like, maybe they are curious because I'm now feeling
Yeah.
really confident. And I'm like, maybe they are curious. Maybe I
Yeah.
look good today.
Yes.
Was it my hair? Maybe they liked my hair. And then actually, I can share this. I had a personal experience. I went to the sauna in Turku. I'm not going to mention the name of the sauna, but it's beautiful. So you might
Aw,
know.
now I'm intrigued.
We
Intrigued.
promoted them like 7 times already.
Yeah, so I went to the sauna, and but it's not Villa ya Villa.
Oh.
And it was
Sorry.
really like, full of like it's
Yeah.
honestly the majority were white white Finnish or Swedish speaking Finnish or European, whatever, but majority of white people. And I was kind of maybe me and another couple of people, and when I saw them, I looked at them, I was like, I see you, we're here alone. Like,
We know.
I'm so happy to see you here. But in my mind, it was all inner, to be honest. It was mostly inner. Self-doubt. I was so conscious because I'm alone.
Yeah.
And I'm different, and I was the only one that's different. So it would be amazing if people could understand how isolating that feels.
Yeah.
But then, so I was like, okay, I will never come here again. I think it's not the place for me. The inner dialogue was happening. And on my way out, I was like drying my hair, and this amazing woman comes to me, and she's like, you're so beautiful.
Yes.
Your hair is so beautiful. I think you're so beautiful.
Oh.
I could not stop looking at you. And I was like,
Oh, that's so sweet.
That's so cute.
All
And I
these
was like,
people were just in
Yeah.
love.
And in
Yes.
that moment for me as a wife, I don't know to go like back off girl or
Yes.
or like
Only this one.
yeah.
okay.
Or
Just
I go
no
like
messing here.
because I know like she been like wanting that. She was like because she feels awkward. All the
Yes.
like I was like it's fine. I can just
But
allow
next
it
time
this
I'll fight.
time.
She's like,
Like,
okay,
this
fine.
one is fine. Like
Yes.
yeah.
But I was so, and honestly, it taught me a lot.
True.
That sometimes it's important that we say there is discrimination, absolutely. But how much, when does it happen? What are the right terminologies to use, and how can you spot it? And when is it an inner thing? And this is something that I have been going through in my journey now, to kind of unlearn certain things about, because I was really rushed to just brush it all. And yes, there are some looks that you could feel are very violently
Yeah.
aggressive, and you can feel the energy, but sometimes it's you being scared. And imagine also other aspects of differences that we don't even are aware of.
Mhm.
Like there are so many other things that could possibly make you physically stand out, or you're completely different. And I am trying to like also challenge myself. I'm like, have I ever had a friend that wasn't physically able like I
Yeah.
am?
Mhm.
And why is it that? It's not about having a token friend or anything, but it's more of like, how come I've never asked myself, how does that person walk on earth and what challenges do they face? Because I'm used to certain things, like I'm used to certain, like I can grab things at a certain height or live in a certain way. But what if things change? And so it's really important to know that we are really different.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
things happen to us because we are different. So it's not, we don't imagine them, we're not paranoid. But do we have the enough education and tools to help ourselves when we are in moments of fear
Yeah.
and how to de-escalate? This is something I'm learning now, but it's a journey. It's not
For
easy.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's like, for instance, hanging out with you made me aware of, okay, actually not having unisex changing room can be an issue, or
Yeah.
where do you go when you're not
Yes.
sure? And
Yes.
it's
Yes.
something I
Sure.
would never consider before, and that's why I think you need to make friends with people who have really different experiences,
Yes.
as you
Mhm.
said.
It's very, very important because
and-
you're otherwise you're in your bubble of ability and your
Yeah.
own and I think that's why it's so important to really have conversations, because even it's so
Exactly.
important to know from the perspective of what does a Finnish, for example, because we're just talking about Finland at the moment, but what does a Finnish person feel? Why are
Mhm.
they scared? And what experiences did they have? What is it, prejudice? Like I need to understand before I cast a judgment on you that you are a racist. Such a big thing to say to
True,
someone.
True.
So I need to understand at what level you are in, so I can then hold you accountable to it.
Mhm.
Sorry, Asma, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that that's true, and then like it's not on me that like for example, as Naomi said, like I wouldn't even imagine what like a black person feel in a room. I can't feel it, and it's not on me. But what's on me is like basically see everybody, like when people comes and go like, oh, we don't see color. No, you need to see color. We need to see everybody. We need to sit on the same table. We need to talk. I need to understand what does it mean. I can't just like refuse for the sake of refusing, and as I need to understand, let people understand who I am. I really need them to talk also and tell me who they are, like which we're talking about Finns or like different type of immigrants, because again, not all immigrants are the same. Not all immigrants who came from Dubai are the same. Not all immigrants. That's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
We are already at 1 hour 15.
Oh.
We had more questions
Yeah.
prepared.
Oh my God.
Maybe we can say that we ask one last question, is
Yeah.
because go for it.
Okay, yeah. So my question to both of you is like, for example, if somebody like some Finnish person is listening to us right now, who's like completely oblivious to what's happening outside of their zone of comfort or their social network, how would you plead to them to be more open to get out of their comfort zone? What would you like if you were to talk to them individually? What would you say?
It's hard. I think I would. It's just on them. It's a personal choice. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is exactly what we started with, like me holding that sign and tell them like we're good, or convincing them to
Yeah.
talk to me. If you don't want to talk to me, don't. That's it. And then I know that as much as I can add value to you, you can add value to me. So if you don't want to take my value or give me your value, then that's on you.
Mm.
Yeah,
But if you're listening to this episode, you're already doing a big step.
exactly,
Oh, yes.
that's it.
Yeah.
And I believe in this, like personally, I believe that like people, like everyone, and then that's also in you as a person.
Mhm.
Everyone I meet, everyone I talk to, I learn something from them. You just need to listen
Mhm.
and learn, because it's not just random. They're like, hey, even if someone said something very simple, I learn something from everyone that I meet and talk to.
Mhm.
And then you just need to listen to that person, give them their time, and then like, so it's on them. They want to talk to immigrants or not. That's totally. I'm not here to convince anyone to do something that they don't want to do. But this is something that I do myself, and I love. Is basically I love talking to everyone, because I believe that there is something to learn from everyone. Everyone has something, and it's equal. It's not like, please talk to an immigrant.
Mhm.
As much as you give, they give back.
Yeah.
As much as Finland gave to immigrants gave back a lot.
Mhm.
And it's also on people to see how much they give, and it's on native to see how much immigrants give.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like your point. But maybe I'll continue to open the invite also. So if you happen, because I know how it's like to be so afraid and in your bubble to talk to someone as a person, not just as a Finnish person, but as a human being like you. If I was in a bubble, I'm so scared to reach out. Trust me, if I saw you, I will reach out. So if you happen to be Finnish and I saw you looking at us in an event, I'll be like, hello. So don't worry, I'll come to you if I happen to see you. But if I didn't happen to see you, please come say hello. It's an open invite. If you think we're too loud or we're laughing, you can also be quiet the first time. We have a rule which says that if someone is quiet or they don't want to participate, they have the right not to participate. And someone actually exercised that rule on me, and they said that I'm feeling introverted today. I don't feel like talking. And I said, I was just gonna, my anxious self. And they were like, I don't feel like it today. And I said, I absolutely get it. And I just walked away. There was no ill intent. If I saw them again, and I'll see them again, I know that for a fact, I will say hello again. And if they say no again, I will respect that. So please feel free to come. You can stay quiet, you can talk, and also feel free to share a skill. Maybe you don't want to talk to us, maybe you want to tell us something about you. So there is a space.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space where you can come and you don't talk. It's okay. Yeah.
That's actually very Finnish.
Yeah.
Silence.
And
Jesus.
my last question will be about mental health, because we mentioned it a bit beforehand, and you are both spending a lot of time on your projects. Like, for instance, when the first time I've heard about Asmaa was because she was an influencer in the student village, renovating her table, and Aya, I've met her volunteering at Boost. So you have always been super active in a lot of communities since you arrived in Finland, and you mentioned that you went through really tough moments for mental health. So what do you feel helped you the most, and maybe how to encourage people to take care of themselves when they are living these tough moments, especially as immigrants, but as Finnish also?
I'm the worst person for this.
I never handle my
I'm way back. I'm not sure.
It can be also like I don't manage.
I do something nice here is I take a long walk. I hate walking. I hate all kind of sports. But when I feel bad, take Kai and we go on a walk. This is what I do. And I rest. And then I think this is something I'm lucky to have. I have a safe space at home with my wife where I can rest and not say anything and not talk, and I don't feel like I have to. Like, if I don't want to exist, I cannot exist, like I go like, I'm not here today, ignore me. And I created a little space in we have a walk-in closet, so I created a space for me in the walk-in closet. So I'm always like at the back of the home,
and I pass snacks through the door.
You're really the sweetest.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate about I'm gonna say Asmaa, sadly, but yeah, I appreciate about Asmaa the fact that she knows how to rest.
You cannot say it.
Yeah,
I'm giving you the chance.
I have to say Habibi in Arabic.
Habibi. They say it in
Oh my god, yes, the best word.
Yes, but what I really appreciate about Habibi is the fact that she really knows how to rest, and it's I love that a lot. So I feel like you know how to take care of your mental health. And she is also a very strong person with strong personality. So she's like, okay, now I'm shutting down. And she really shuts down for like a couple of days. And I completely give her the space too. How I take care of my mental health, I'm not sure as well.
You create Turku Together. That's what you do.
But
But
to be
I
honest,
think creating community helps. Like creating a theater club or Radio Turku helped me a lot, for instance.
Yeah, it did help me a lot, but it's quite draining, especially if you don't have the financial return because it's volunteer work. So you go like, the rent. So that kind of gets you a bit anxious. So how I take care of my mental health. I go to my therapist, who's amazing, Sarah. Shout out, I love Sarah, and she is like my superhero.
No.
Same.
We
Shout out to Sarah.
Yeah, we have a
Dance
favorite
fit.
Sarah also. She's
Okay.
also a psychologist. That's why I'm.
Okay.
I
Now I
think-
know why we all have met. Okay.
Let's see the
we
networks.
will
the
chat about
networks.
this
Okay.
after
Yes.
because there are many Sarah.
Yes,
Yes.
but I think she is amazing, and she's like now like, and I really committed to it to take care of my mental health, and it's my priority for this year. And I do get burnt out a lot because I have anxiety, and it's something I'm living with, and I'm hoping to cope with better. So I do give my all. I'm very emotional. I invest a lot in Turku Together, so I take it very personal, and I'm so invested. So I do I go to therapy, and I'm so grateful that I can afford it. And I also meditate. I pray a lot, and I just try to I cannot rest like Asma, but I do meditate, so it helps me calm down.
To each their own. To each
Yes.
their own way of recovery from
Yes.
stress.
Do you have your own
How
tips
is- yeah.
about?
I don't, gosh. I try not to take myself too seriously. I think
very
that
good.
already
That's very
lifted off a lot of weight on my
Weight.
shoulders. Like, I feel like with the PhD, there's this so much pressure of like, okay,
True.
yeah, publish papers. But for me, having these other activities in my life had really helped me to like realize that, oh, it's not just that which my life revolves on. So
Yes.
To dance with another Sarah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
That's
to more
a big-
dancing to
Yes.
yeah.
I have a very solid tip. It's not a tip, it's a meme that I saw on Instagram.
Yeah, memes are
But-
tips now.
But to be honest, it's changed my entire life. It's I battle also with self-negative talk and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So the meme say guards. Whenever you have a thought, you know how when you go in the movies they were like they were like guards come to take them, and I now use that. So whenever I have any negative talk, I'm like guards.
Call out those guards.
Yeah, so it's okay, so it's something that I do now, and it's so helpful.
But they often encourage you to have images to
Yeah.
take care of negative
Yeah,
thoughts.
and I
interesting.
was like, okay, guards are coming to take you, so
What do you
I
do,
really-
Naomi?
Yeah,
I
Yeah, what do
cry.
you do,
But I'm a big crier.
okay,
Like
good.
yeah,
Really?
immediately. Often it's like I do a lot of stuff, and I always have this cycle where I do too many projects. So and it's very personal. So if one thing doesn't work, cry all night, and then my Italian at home is often doing stupid stuff to make me laugh. I say I
Aw.
just need to be in fetus position, and it will be better. And the next morning
Aw.
is good. And
Oh,
usually,
that's good.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
good.
crying always helps me a lot, and usually when I cry, I sleep, and the next day I take decisions, because what helps me a lot is to making decisions and taking actions. That is what helps me in general, because the worst is feeling stuck. This is what
yes,
is
true.
really difficult to struggle with, because I feel we always have projects to create. I don't know, I'm looking for a job, I don't find a job, it doesn't matter, I create my company like
Yeah.
Asmaa. I am looking for friends, I'm looking for community.
Yes,
We create
yes.
Radio Turku, we create Turku Together. I want to feel like the coolest girl in town. I become a model.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, I feel it's one of the best way to feel better, to take action in general.
True. That's a
And-
very good tip.
Celebrate the small trifles in life, like whatever it is that makes you feel like happy. I mean, not necessarily dopamine happy, but like internal happiness.
True.
Like celebrate that, embrace that, take a moment to just look back and just, gosh, this is
Yeah,
actually
it's true.
nice.
So rest, cry, have a good cry, take action,
Celebrate.
and then
Celebrate.
be silly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
yeah.
have
and
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It's really concrete actions. I love that.
This is a perfect conclusion, I think.
Yeah.
To this, it was really a super cool episode. Thank
Yeah,
you.
true.
I'm really
Thank you
happy we
for
had
having us.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yes,
Thank